George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. Cedric Bolton, new position.
How you doing?
So what you doing now, brother?
Yeah, well, right now, I started my first day as the Chief Operations Officer at Syracuse Community Connection off on South Ave, 401 South Ave, formerly Southwest Community Center. So I'm excited to, new role, new opportunities, and I'm excited for what's to come.
You were obviously at Syracuse University for many years, most recently at the Community Folk Arts Center. And so what can we expect from you going forward in this new role?
Well, more responsibilities, of course, and of course, bringing my talents and try to help the reimagine what 21st century Syracuse Community Connection can look like. So, some of the activities that are happening now, just kind of look at what's happening there and how it can bring one or two new events to the space. Right now, we're looking at planning a town hall meeting in October to bring the community together to have conversations about, what's possible, what the future was, what the past was, and how we can move forward the meter in terms of getting the community back engaged and bringing out some of the partners back and even some new ones. So we want to look at how we can have a couple of these and then also engage in this event that we have that I started at Community Folk Arts Center where I wrote this grant from community literacies, collaborations, seed and growth grant funding at the University of Arkansas, where the Brown Chair of English is Dr. Eric Pritchard. Put this out there back in January, and I saw it, and I said I should apply for it because I've been wanting to have a program that focuses on literacy for high school kids, so 9th through 12th grade. So what I did was I created a proposal that focuses on spoken word poetry, slam spoken word poetry for 9th through 12th grade in the city of Syracuse. So I branched out and reached out to folks to let them know this is what I'm doing. And so when I did send the grant through, I just left it. And before you know it, I was told that I was a winner of this award, and this award is going to bring two national poets here. It's going to pay for our coaches that's going to coach these kids in terms of their writing abilities and confidence in their performance for the next year's slam. So, and then it's going to be some cash prizes, of course, and trophies that go along with it and certificates. But I wanted to bring high school cheer and morale to kids who probably love writing but don't have a place for engaging their writing styles. So I think leveling up is a way of not only leveling up in their arts, but also in their education, because we have a bunch of people who are going to be college age that's going to be participating, college graduate, alumni, community agencies. So it's going to be a lot of ways that these kids can network um, through this program and meeting a lot of their own teen peers who are also from different high schools around the city.
So when does the program start? How do they level up and be a part of it?
So I have a flyer that will be going out, and an announcement that will be going to the teachers in the Syracuse City School District, and want to get this program started on October 5th. So it will be layers of writing workshops throughout the month. So that way they're getting them to writing poems and preparing them for the actual performance piece. So October is where I want to have the preview and the orientation, but we're sending out the form since school just started today. I wanted to send the form out to these officials in the Syracuse City School District who can get it to the teachers, get it to the students so they can sign up. Because we only want to have 25 kids to be in this program. So I'm going to be reaching out to the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, and anywhere where we have high school kids, alternative school. I know we have a number of programs around the city that work with some of our kids who are not in high school systems. So I don't want to forget them as well. So it's open. It doesn't cost these kids nothing to participate, but they do have to sign up and be committed to this year-long program.
Reach out to Judge Rashid, because the Junior Frontiers, they're a group of kids, and they write every week for incentives.
Okay.
So it might be good to get that to them as well. I think Chanel Dawson is still involved with that. I'm just name dropping all over the place, but
Yeah.
that might be another group. Now, will the sessions be where will the sessions be held?
So we have right now because it started at Community Folk Arts Center. We want to have the writing workshops at the Community Folk Arts Center because a lot of these kids are coming from all over the city, and some places they can not go because there's some issues around the city. So we want to make sure there's a neutral space which Community Folk Arts Center represents, and then maybe there could be some other locations that will um, maybe host it, but for right now, that's where we want to be. And of course, there'll be some times and opportunities where we'll be able to meet at Syracuse Community Connection, where they'll have opportunities to come on that side of town, maybe during the early day and on a Saturday where they can come in and feel, comfortable to be there in the early morning. So those are two locations right now. And then
So,
hopefully the big event will be April. We're looking at April 19th, 2025 for the actual big slam where we have the guest speakers, guest poets in town and stuff like that. Mhm.
and you're looking for what age young people to be involved in the Level Up program?
So anywhere 14 to 17 is about the age group. We figured 9th through 12th grade. I believe that's about 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
So those age groups is about where I'm looking for. And if they are 18 and still in school, we're still going to take them because they're still in school.
And
Uh,
and
but
and now, is it just residents in the city of Syracuse, or is it open to the county?
well, I was just going with Syracuse, the city of Syracuse right now. But well,
So if you live in the city of Syracuse, you're eligible. What if you
correct.
live in the city but go to school in the county?
We'll because in their representative the high school, the thing is they live in the city but go to another high school, and I
Yeah.
may have to register that high school, and that kid will represent that high school. So I haven't really, um,
So what I'm thinking about is you got kids who live in the city, but they go to some of these schools on around the perimeter, but they live in the city, right? So
right,
will they be eligible? It's an important question. What if they
right.
go to Bishop Ludden or Bishop Grimes or CBA or someplace?
I may have to consider that because we had kids that was out in Janesville, DeWitt that signed up. So if they're living in Syracuse, we
Or
may and they go to a school out I may have to consider that
yeah,
because they're a Syracuse City kid. They just happen to go to a different school. We just will have
right,
to register that. We just have to register that high school. That's all.
yeah, because or they go to MPH or something like that,
Yeah, yeah,
or
that's fine.
mm, or
But we want to have we want to really look at. I was really looking at Syracuse high schools like Nottingham,
mm-hmm.
Ithaca, Portland,
ITC,
ITC.
PSLA, yeah.
Yeah, so right now you ask a good question, and I didn't process that piece because I was only focusing on the Syracuse City School District school. So
And what
maybe
about? I was gonna say, what about the charters? Right? There's,
yeah, I don't if there's a charter high schools. Is there a
yeah,
charter?
the Syracuse. What's it called? Charter Academy of Science, SAS, Syracuse
Okay,
Academy of Science. I'm not trying to muddy your water. I'm just asking, what about all
yeah,
these other? And then there's On Tech. There's a couple of them.
yeah. I just want to. I think I'm focusing basically right now on the five
The
main.
five, the big.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
five main. Yeah, the big main.
We look. We done talk through it,
Yeah,
right?
yes, we did. We did because my main focus was what the proposal had, the five, but now you're bringing up something I probably have to think about for the following year, how
Right.
we how we be more inclusive to other spaces that are looking to include their kids in these type of
Right,
programs.
because some kids may go to, like I said, they may go to SAS, they may go to some of
Right,
these places. They live here, but
right.
they may go to one of those schools. So
So let me say this for the record, we're gonna focus on Syracuse City School District's high schools for
got it
now.
for now.
Yeah. For now.
It has we done went all the way around, and now we're
Right.
going back home. Okay.
Hmm. Yes, because when I wrote the grant, that was the name of the schools that I
You
submitted
know,
to.
I'm thinking there's so much talent in the community, and we have seen such tragedy over the
Yeah.
last couple of years. And I just hope that people find a way to express themselves, or
Right.
at least even learn that they have a way to express themselves through the
Right.
written, through the spoken word.
Right.
Um, but it also, but when you think about it, it also comes back to literacy, right?
Right.
Because the more you're able to read, or get
Yes.
or read for however you want to say it, the better writer you are. So,
Right.
but then again, people are used to I'm thinking if you're influenced by musical artists who say they don't write, they just come off the dome, right?
Right.
But I'm just hoping that people, because I was talking with someone the other day
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that if someone, if your ability, if your literacy isn't what you want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
you may choose to hide and mask that,
Yeah.
and it shows up different ways.
Right.
What you're really saying is, I can't do it, I can't read it, but
Right.
I can't show you that. So I'm
Right.
going to do some other things. And
Right.
then you become a disruptor in the
Distraction.
space,
Yep.
right?
Yep. That's the intervention pieces that a lot of these high schools and middle schools have asked me to come to their schools for many years. Is how do we get the confidence in the kid who reads slower or in the kid who reads fast, right? So we have to be able to show them that poetry can be a way of finding interest in tones that look very similar to some of what people slang that people are using. And when they're reading this poetry and they get interested, they find themselves reading more and more of it. Before you know it, they didn't read over 1,000 words or 2,000, 5,000, 20,000 words. And it helps them because they learn new words, they learn new concepts, they learn new artists, new authors. So like Rudy Francisco is one of the poets that we're going to be featuring for this year.
What's
He's
his
a
name?
His name is Rudy Francisco.
Rudy Francisco. Okay.
Rudy, yep, Rudy, like Rudy Huxtable. He is definitely one of the most premier poets that for our generation and for their generation. And he writes like if you was listening to Lucille Clifton or reading one of her works, because he writes in that visual, he gives you very visual perspectives and interpretations that you get it and don't have to like, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to introduce like poets whose work are award-winning works, but then we want to introduce them to poets like Imani, whose lyrical faith, her work, she's starting to come up in these spaces too now. And she's one of our alumni from SU
Hmm.
who was ranked third in the world for spoken word poets.
Wow.
So yes, yes, world poetry. So this type of thing is where these young people can look at these female and a male identifying and can see themselves as that next person who will go on to either be in poetry, go on to get their masters or bachelors or community college degrees or others degrees or even trade school. We're not just saying everybody who does poetry is going on and getting advanced degrees, but some people are trade people and they love poetry just as much. So I want to be able to reach these children because a lot of times we're missing out on some of the most brilliant minds, and they get trapped up into some of the stuff in our world, and we lose them too soon sometimes, before they
You,
can even have a chance.
you are from Paterson, New Jersey. Was this a way for you to find your voice?
Yes, I had a teacher in sixth grade. Her name is Miss Neufeld. She gave us like these composition books. I still have the composition books. Matter of fact, they're right behind me in my shelf. But she gave us these composition books, and she would always say, "Write what you're feeling, and if you are not comfortable in sharing, we can read in my private closet." She had like a private little room, and she allowed us to read to her. So I had a stuttering problem, and it's funny that Amanda Gorman and the president Biden had stuttering problems, but they found that poetry helped them to get through the struggles of stuttering. So poetry helped me to be like able to write about what was happening in my community, When I was very young, I had these poems that I was writing about black men and black men's struggle and young black boys' struggles. And then I found that I didn't know I was writing poetry. I was just journaling, journaling until someone said, "You're a poet." And I had no clue what that meant until I my first college professor at an HBCU in Concord, North Carolina, Reverend Spears, Reverend rest his soul. He was the one who helped me to discover my work was important, and so he shared with me about works like Langston Hughes' work, which I've known, but he shared me some other work about Langston, some work, Nikki Giovanni's work, definitely Lucille Clifton's work, because he was definitely into that space of engaging poets and young artists like myself. So yes, I want to say it pretty much helped me to develop my writing and understanding of journaling. But then as I got to understand the importance of being a poet and the responsibilities of writing what's happening in the world, and then also not just sitting on the work that I'm writing, but contributing to a public space to where people are saying, wow, I didn't know that about that community, right? So if I'm writing from a perspective of being in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I have a 4-year history of writing there, a 2-year history of writing in Washington State, and all of my life writing in Patterson, New Jersey, and living in Concord, North Carolina, when I went to college. So I have these perspectives of writing for over 24 years, 25 years of writings that I've been sharing for the past 20 years. To have 4 albums, 3 albums, and well, I have 3 albums plus a um I have a EP, spoken word album with music that allows people all over the world now to hear me. So these things that I have experienced, I want to be able to put in the space with these young people so they can spread their wings and be able to publish their books, record and put things on DistroKid to go global. Now they have a space in the Grammys now for spoken word poetry. So the space is definitely there for them. They just have to be able to create the lane so that way we have um, these young poets who are now going on to whatever careers after high school and expanding and exploring and discovering more about themselves through their ability to write, but also to share what they've written in multiple spaces, whether it's here virtually. Now that they have this Instagram, they have another one on WhatsApp where these poets that I've mentored have these spaces now where they have a WhatsApp open mic night where they call in from the phone, they do their poems over the phone. But now they also, since the pandemic, have been doing these live open mics and slams on Instagram. So these are spaces where I believe as these young teenagers are on TikTok and all these social media places, they can find platforms become really well known and really put a mark on Syracuse community in
All right.
terms of yeah.
So the program is called Level Up. It'll begin in October. So you can sign up. 25 kids is the limit in the 5 city schools. Cedric, they should ask who in their school for the flyer for this program.
So I'm going to be sending emails to all of the office coordinators and to the director of arts. His name is Rory, I believe. Rory. I'm going to send him the flyer because I reached out to them back in March, so they know about it. Just want to remind them that this is now going live for this October to start the program, and then to have the um, orientations, the preview, so they get a chance to see what it's like to hear poets like.
Is that the
Um,
only way to find out about this?
no, they can also reach out to me. My email address will post is ctbolton at syr.edu, and I still will be using that email up until the end of the year. Uh,
ctbolton at syr.edu.
Correct. And so that's one way that you can reach out to me, and you can look up me on Cedric Bolton. I'm on Facebook. on my Instagram, so I'm not hard to find. And the flyers will be definitely out there. I definitely will have it posted on my page. I'll have it posted on Community Folk Art Center's page, as well as Syracuse Community Connection. So we will definitely have the marketing for at least the time to get these kids signed up. You know, I think it's a really great platform, and once the kids are there, I'll be able to share what some of the incentives that we created for them. You know.
Sounds like a plan. Cedric Bolton, Chief Operations Officer at the Syracuse Community Connections, aka Southwest Community Center. Cedric, so glad to have you on. Level up, brothers, level up.
I have one
Appreciate
more
it.
thing I want to announce to you, Brother George, if it's
Yes.
okay if I say. Tomorrow, South Syracuse Community Connections is hosting a registration for vote from 5 to 7 p.m. So it's a collaboration with Tucker Missionary Baptist Church. So if you have not registered, they definitely will have the voter registered to vote tomorrow from 5 to 7 o'clock, 401 South Ave, Syracuse, New York.
All right, there you go. Cedric Bolton, CT Bolton,
Yes, sir.
BOLTON at sy.edu for the Level Up program. Get your kid registered today. Inspiration for the Nation.